kind of approaching the end of 2019, and not only have we been treated to some fantastic fights, but we've also been treated to some fantastic storylines. And those storylines largely are what are going to move us into 2020 to make us look forward to something. Okay, these matches are coming up. This is what I want to see as a fight fan. And I do think through all the championships, through all the championship runs, main events, main card, co-main events, all the special locations, I think that there's 5 athletes within the UFC who I would call most exciting prospects. And I use the word exciting not just because they're fun to watch or they're flashy or they got a good style, but somebody that you could get behind, you could likely be there for a while. And I will tell you, number 5 on that list, I do think you have to look at Edmund Shabazian. And when Edmund came in, he's 21 years old. He's looking great. He is allegedly managed by Ronda Rousey, which I'm quite sure is nothing more than something cool to say. But it is a cool thing to say. And if it is just from a marketing standpoint and you get Ronda to sign off on it, run with it. And he did. I got to see his last fight live. And, Brad Tavares is nobody's fool. Brad's been in there with everybody. Brad's a rough guy. And Edmund came out. He stunned Brad right off the bat. Brad was trying to fight right through it. Edmund came right back in. Look, I liked his flurries. I liked his punches and bunches. But I thought one thing that he also showed was a killer instinct. It's hard. It's very easy for the audience who's at home. You guys have probably done, you'll yell at your TV and go, he's hurt, attack. You'd be shocked, but a lot of times a fighter doesn't know when he has another fighter hurt. You're too close. Your eyes aren't always looking at him. One of the ways you can see if a guy's hurt is you're looking him right in his eyes. Well, most fighters look at a guy's chest. Another way to tell is if he's wobbly. Well, you can't really tell a wobble when you're only 2 feet away from it. I mean, the guy's moving the whole time. It's just a little bit tough. Certainly not something impossible to do. I'm just sharing with you when a guy can see that, can sense it, and goes in for the finish. It's a skill. And it's not usually a skill a 21-year-old has over a veteran. It stood out for me, and I do think that the future is very bright, particularly at only 21 years old. Another guy, and this will be a little bit bigger name for you, but is Jared Cannonier. And not only, don't forget, he's had a rough patch in MMA, rough career, ups and downs and peaks and valleys. Started at heavyweight. Worked his way down, almost forced down to 185 pounds. We don't see that happen in a positive very often. Generally, guys will start at a weight, they'll move up in weight to have more success. He moved down, then he moved down another weight class. All of a sudden, he's on fire. He's stopping greats like Anderson Silva. He's getting shined up in the media, loosely called out, more of a projection that someday they'll meet by Israel Adesanya, the current greatest of all time. I mean, these are big compliments to Jared. And he did it after starting his career at a heavyweight. I think that's a comeback story. I know that we all love a guy who's undefeated. Do we love that? Or do we love the story of a comeback more? I won't tell you what the answer is, but I would be interested in your opinion. Then you have Macy Barber. Macy offers something special, in my opinion, in that she came out with one of the great marketing campaigns of 2019 where she stated, I want to be the youngest champion of all time. John Jones currently holds that record, and I have X amount of months, weeks, and days, hours, minutes, and seconds to beat him. That story caught on. She remained undefeated. Each time out, a subtle step up in competition. But now she's got the company behind her marketing campaign. It's very, very difficult in my estimation to be behind the marketing campaign, but when the time comes and the dates match up, not to give her the opportunity, particularly when she's undefeated. I think this was something to motivate herself. I think it was something to say, I'm not going to be one of these athletes that thinks, oh, I'm young, oh, I've got time. I want to operate my career with a sense of urgency. That's what I think her intent was. It turned out to be brilliant. From a marketing standpoint, I cannot find myself speaking about Macy Barber without speaking about the goal that she has set for herself, which is to be the youngest champion of all time. You guys also got exposed to a young man named Paulo Costa. Now, I have to condescend to you because I already knew about him. I had this one figured out, guys. I met him on the set of Ultimate Fighter 3 Brazil. I coached that opposite Vanderlei Silva. He was on Vanderlei's team. But the way the Ultimate Fighter works, it's largely presented to the audience as this team versus this team, and everybody hates everybody. That's just not the way it goes. You got a group of athletes who are sacrificing everything, working towards a common goal. They're living together, eating together, training together, motivating one another, and then ultimately having to compete against one another. That's where the drama unfolds, and that's why it's a television show. But I can tell you, being there, it wouldn't matter if it was a guy wearing my jersey. If he had a question and he wanted to ask Vanderlei the question, the opposing coach who I have a rivalry with, go ask Vanderlei the question. He's right there. Try to get an answer, spend a few minutes, pick Vanderlei's mind. But the same went the other way. Hey guys, if there's something and you think Chael can, boom, go ask Chael. When the cameras fire back up and we put the jerseys on, act like it never happened, but use this experience any way that you can. And Paulo was one of those guys who did. Paulo Costa was one of those guys. He grabbed me. He grabbed Clayton Hires. He grabbed Coach Jamie. He pulled Vinny aside. Pulled Scott McQuarrie aside. He used every tool that he had at his disposal, and he turned that into a huge training camp for himself. And we would all watch him. He'd be the first one in the gym. He'd be the happiest one to be there, and he'd be the last one to leave. Plus, he was strong. But when you see that strength, that natural strength and athleticism mixed with that hunger, and I can tell you in 2014, he wasn't wildly talented. He was strong and he was athletic and he was hungry. He was motivated. But he wasn't wildly talented. He didn't show up with a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He didn't show up with like a Golden Gloves background. He wasn't a national team member in wrestling. But you could see that hunger. And when he burst onto the scene, and all of a sudden accumulates a 15-0 record, and by the way, a #1 contendership, there was a little bit of me that had a pride, and a little bit of me that was glad that you guys were finally exposed to it. And I will have to tell you, I do really feel that the year of exciting prospects belongs to Zabit. Zabit works for many reasons. I mean, first off, he's the tallest 145-pounder. Not only competing at 145 today, he's the tallest 145-pounder to ever compete at 145. This guy is a tall glass of water. And he's got himself a weird hairdo, and he's got himself a beard like Abe Lincoln had. And he throws up a charismatic smile, and he goes out there with some of the top coaches in the game, and then he performs techniques both on his feet, also with the takedowns. Don't forget that. And then, of course, with the submissions like we've never seen before. Like we've never seen before. Just go see his last fight. He took the guy down while standing with what's called a back step into a foot sweep. The opponent lost his balance and grabbed him by the back, had his waist, drug him down to the canvas. I mean, look, he's in the 5-round club. He's proved he can do that. He's skilled everywhere, and now he's starting to get people's attention. Nobody was calling out Zabit. And all of a sudden, Jeremy Stevens does call him out, but nobody else called him. All the rest of the boys say, hey, Jeremy said he'd do it. Hey, Jeremy, you go in there with him. I mean, that's how it was. This guy has commanded respect, but finally now he's done a call out. He has finally said, guys, enough is enough. 6 in a row, 7 in a row. I fight the winner of Volkanovski and Holloway. For me, that's reasonable.
Uncle Jill. There's no bad guy like Uncle Jill. Never lost, not even around. Undefeated, undisputed. Oh yeah, here comes the bad guy. Uncle Jill. There's no bad guy.